Yeah. Today I'm going to talk about impermanence and the suffering, and the emptiness and selflessness. And it's related to our life and how we can recognize those things. It's a basically yeah, it's part of in our life. And yeah, for example, our life it's impermanent that we know. It's not just only our life, everything. What we see, hear, taste, and everything is always changing. And the world that we are living is always changing. And every sentient being that we have connection or not connection, directly or indirectly connected. Everything is changing, right? And then what is benefit for to understand impermanence is that um, as Dharma practitioners, then one is we understand the natural reality. This is a relative natural reality. And to think about impermanence, it gives a little bit exertion, right? Our life is a limit. And what we have, and if we don't use it good way, then it will lose. And to use good way means that, yeah, as Dharma practitioners have to practice Dharma. When we say practice Dharma, there's three ways. First way of to study. This is some way it's a simple, like impermanence. Everybody knows. Even if you not much think about, still we know that it's always changing, right? But as Dharma practitioners, we have to think about very carefully everything. And then at some point we realized, oh yeah, this impermanence. It's always moving and changing. And then that gives some sort of, yeah, exertion where we have to put our energy. And our life, it's a limit. And the limited life, to use good way, have to study about the Dharma teachings. And I always saying this time is the best time for study, right? In the past, if you read it, some the Dharma practitioners' biographies, it's very complicated to receiving teachings. You have to go to isolated place, then you have to find place to stay and to find food and so forth. It's complicated. And then you have to rely on the teachers and the teaching. But as many centuries, yeah, many Dharma practitioners did. It took a very challenges. At some point, put lots of effort, right? It's some way it's worth it. But what I'm saying, many things, if you don't understand, if you don't aware of it, don't know it, then we can't see this is good fortune something. Lots of people that's missing, right? Missing point is that sometimes as people think, oh, the past something is great. Some people think, oh, future may be something. And what we have is forget. And so, and related to the study, This is the best time. If you want any teachings, it's available, right? Even these days, you don't need a real person. AI give you this amazing teachings and images if you want to look at, and you can find in the Google, YouTube, you can study with the great teacher that already passed. That's never occur in human history, right? This is just reason what we have. Some great uh, Dharma practitioners who has deep realizations, they can receive teachings in the dream. But we don't have to go to sleep, just, go to the computer and receive a teaching. And you can see it, a person's movement, a voice, and you can hear it, voice and everything. It's a good thing, right? And you can read lots of the Dharmic books. And I have to study. Need it. It's a necessity information. And the point here is that need a lot of causes, conditions gathering to understand the Dharma's view. The Dharma's view, this is a reality, right? It's not beyond of the reality. We have to understand reality. Reality, everybody has a different the perspective of reality. But Dharmic point of view as a Buddhist, I think it's the best way of described this reality. Because one who has deep wisdom that discovered this reality is not confused by the karma and kleshas, right? Like Shakyamuni Buddha, as example. And then the countless Buddhist masters, they discovered reality. Sometimes when we see something, hear something, that's at some point, it's influenced by our karma and kleshas, like wearing yellow sunglasses. And then you can see everything's yellow, right? Similar, and we are living in the samsara filled with karma and kleshas, and we have different perspective of this reality. And the people put it different the values, think it's a very important something. Maybe from Dharma point of view, not that important. Maybe wasted time. So the point here is that as Dharma practitioners, we should aware of impermanence. And this is always embodied in our mind and body. It's not beyond of anything, right? If you look at one's own body, it's always changing. If you look at one's feeling, how we feel, it's always changing. If you look at one's own opinions, mind, it's always changing. Particularly if you're just aware of it when you meditate something, then all thoughts and emotions arising and ceasing all the time. There's no particular something there. It's impermanent. Then if you're a little bit aware of it, families, the friends, and back to further, like 20 years, 30 years, or 10 years something, then a lot of things is missing, right? Parent or something already gone. And if you noticing these things, if you look at the news, and then lots of things happening in the world, good things and bad things, it's happening. It's all part of impermanence. And when we hear the news that someone passed away or some have problems, so forth, particular someone passed away, as Dharma practitioners, just reflecting, oh, this is a message sending to self, saying that it's kind of warning, right? And that could be happened for us. Could be today, could be tomorrow. Or one of one's families, friends, and so forth. So that is we all just aligned the directions. Sooner or later go these directions. This is just not made up anything or believe. It's not based on the belief, anything. This is based on the reality, how this phenomena relatively works. As Dharma practitioners, then, take it that as a Dharmic path. And sometimes this impermanence brings lots of troubles, right? If you don't understand, then it makes a lot of problems. If we do understand, then of course it makes problems, but not make worse. Dharma practitioners handle this situation very nicely and go with it. And put a little bit effort to practice Dharma, what we have is now, this precious life. Yeah, that's just impermanence. And then the next topic is that, and the suffering. You heard many times the Buddha, he first taught Four Noble Truths, right? Five disciples. He introduced the truth of the suffering, that nobody wants it. Everybody has it. The physical suffering. Suffering could be related to the birth, suffering that relate to the aging, illness, and the death. That's just almost everybody has it, that. Or sooner or later, death and aging, it depends. If you just put it aging, it's yeah, it depends, right? 2 years compared to the one day, 2 days, it's much older than 1 day from the birth. Yeah, that's where directions. And this the suffering could relate to the physical and the mental. We have to understand first. It's like a disease. If you want to recover the disease, then we have to recognize, right? Even if we don't recognize as the doctor, discovered, that's the problems. Like in this case, the doctor is Shakyamuni. He explained what's the problems. And this is not just accidentally occur or someone punishing, give it to us. It's related to the causes and the conditions. The Buddha introduced the suffering, the cause of the suffering, right? And everything is dependent on the causes and conditions from Dharma point of view. And that's we should, develop a certainty on, certainty on the causes and the conditions. We call it karma. And so if we don't want the suffering, nobody wants suffering. But due to confused, Sentient beings like us, we're creating the troubles. That we know it, particularly mental suffering, right? Human is very high and getting worse and worse. Isolated. Yeah, lots of things. This happened. And it could be related to the family issues, could be related to the jobs, relationships, and it depends. As Dharma practitioners, then um, the first, recognize the suffering of physical suffering and the mental suffering, right? It's like disease. Then just understand the suffering is not enough. We know that if you're sick, go to the hospital, doctors described the illness. It's not enough to eliminate the problems. We have to take the medicine. Then here is emptiness. And the path, right? Path qualities. That's what Buddha was looking for many, many years. He saw the world as troubles, the problems. Even his stay in the palace, his life was relatively perfect. Good family, nice house, wife, and everything. What he just general people pursue something. He thought that is not enough. Even though he lives in the palace, he's not beyond of, you know, truth of the suffering. If he live a little bit longer, then aging is problems. Physical, illness is the problems, and then particular death. And he recognized that, of course, someone who has a very compassionate person and naturally, um, what are called intelligent person, right? Buddha was. And so then it's not only thinking about himself, you see it, that's a problem for everyone living in this world. He was looking for the remedy to eliminate the suffering. That's why he left from palace. He can't handle these troubles. He wants to find peace for everyone. He rely on the spiritual teachers, meditate, ascetic practice. And those is a journey for the Dharmic journey. And we can learn something. And we can't do exactly what Buddha did, but Buddha is an extraordinary person, right? And we can't do it completely, but we can take some of his advice and then benefit for us as Dharma practitioners. Particularly his essential message. That's we have to take it. That's medicine. Then, and he meditated for 6 years as ascetic practice. At that time in India, it was very um, popular you know, that time, ascetic practice. Still, in the Buddhism, particular, I think um, some Indian religious they do ascetic practice. It's not that popular within Buddhism. We do ascetic practice, few days, something like that. It's there, exist, but not take extremist path? Does he avoid extremist path is the troubles? And we should avoid any extremist, too much, too little, both is the problems. We have to take a middle path. And then later that's bring into the meditation, right? Don't too tight, don't too loose. Just relax and so forth. So, and here, the emptiness is the path. What he discovered is that there is no external, some beings saving for us or eliminated in our suffering. Suffering is related to our actions. The actions relate to our body, particularly negative actions, suffering. And we should avoid killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, and yeah, those things, right? If we engage these kind of activities, then the result will be problems. This is here related to the causes and conditions. He described what is caused of the suffering. And then they relate to the speech, lying, cheating, a divisive speech, and harsh words. If you use those things, then that's the cause of the problems. Sometimes we in our lives something inappropriate situation occur in our life. Bad things happen, right? And at this point, at this time, most people are blaming someone else. That person did, so forth. Yeah, of course, directly if you look at that person, indirectly looking at them, maybe many times we did, and that's similar. So now it's returning back. If we do it baking again, and then just samsara, right? Back and forth, back and forth. I do it today, then that they will do it tomorrow, then I will do it next day, they will do it, and the back and forth. That's just how Buddhism viewing some families a complex occur situation, and that's is in the previous is karma, the bad karma situations involved, and then that result is happening. And that envy, jealous, those relate to the mind, right? Malice, wrong view, and mental suffering is those relate to this kind of, mental attitude. And yeah, wrong view, that's maybe I can talk about it. Every, those topics has a profound, not really profound, it's a huge, big topic in the Dharma teachings. Like wrong view, it's for example, if you think we are the same person from birth into now, it's a wrong view because it's not true, even in the relative world. When you were in 10 years old, It's not the same as 20 years old, right? Physically not same. Mentally, emotionally, in education, everything's changed. Not the same person. But we always holding that similar. And we hold some bad memories. It brings up over and over again, makes discomfort and unhappy and frustrated, angry, so forth. And then the wrong view is that, yeah, um, yeah, lack of the bad, what it called, um, yeah, natural reality. Yeah, thinking about, oh, I'm bad, something, naturally. From Dharma point of view, there's no the bad, the natural state, right? The right view is the basic goodness. We, we said, but the nature, fundamental nature of reality is nothing wrong. So if we hold it wrong, something, it's negative, view of self, then I think that's just a big problem. If you hold that view, then you can feel it that way. You can experience it. Then that's a fact. You can hold a view similar others, wrong something, bad, right? We should eliminate those things. Then how we can do eliminated this, the problems is that we have to understand the natural reality. That's we describe emptiness. Nothing permanent, single, truly exists. If you think about it, you think it's just one person from birth until now. That's not true. You can see it through, one's own wisdom. If you're aware of it, then you understand. Do you understand something you hold on that maybe not exist, except it's just bad memory, right? Remembered. And we have to dissolve those things because it's a cause of the troubles. It's based on the ignorance and the grasping. Ignorance, to eliminate ignorance, is opposite of the wisdom, right? Prajna, to understand what it is. That's why we describe emptiness. We should understand emptiness. And the Buddha's teachings based on the last here. Then similar selflessness. Okay, yeah. Selflessness is another topic. And of course, we can't say there's no self in the relative level of reality. We do have self, the self that relate to, and the mind and the body, combination of mind and body is formed in the me and the mind, right? I is here, then you is there. And but to understand the sublessness, it's a little bit difficult because everyone has ego clinging, right? We believe there's self. It's not just only us. The Buddhism came from India. And before Buddha, they already have many religious, philosophies. Of course, It's yeah, a lot of major religious it came from India, right? Yeah. Still, it's there hundreds, thousands of different um yeah, belief religious there. But before Buddha, everybody believed is that there's self, the permanent self. And it's separated, or some saying it's not uh it's a, it's a part of this physical. It's not part of the mind. Some days it's mind. It depends. In the Buddhism text, we have lots explanations what they believe, and then debate it, right? But this is not the point here. Point here is that from Dharma point of view, there is no permanent single truly exist self. It's very interesting. And why I'm saying it's a very interesting, because if we don't think about it carefully, then maybe it's just empty words, right? Empty words, it doesn't have much meaning for something. If you study about this topic and a little bit contemplate, meditate, familiar with it, then you will get a little bit glimpse of experience this topic, selflessness. Then you can see, oh yeah, it has the point. That way we can reduce our troubles. Our problem is that too much focus self. As long as we too much grasping focus self, then there is a target to hurt. We build target, they hurt, and there's a target to experiencing the suffering. And build the boxes. We are just trapped in that box. It's not out of it. As if you understand there's no self, that doesn't mean if you realize selflessness or despairs of everything. It's a kind of you have the out of these boxes, right? A freedom is there. Pure awareness. It's like space. Realizing selflessness. And then your anxious, anxiety, hope, and fear, worrying, everything, some sort of subside, a little bit calm down. You can find peace and relaxed. We don't have to change a lot of things, illuminating, and just become relaxed. If you really understand the directly the selflessness, then we are a different person. It's not just ordinary person, right? We call it noble beings. And that's really we as Dharma practitioner need an experience of the selflessness. And that's we have to study, right? Study, think about it, and then familiar with it, meditate. Okay, something like that. If you have any questions, please raise hands. Okay, Lenora, go ahead.